3, 2, 1,
jingle! Happy time has just begun. Brother, sister, smart, dumb, fun. Yeah!
Oh, here we are. We are here on a super special Sunday. That's right, you guys. We are hours earlier than normal because we have a super special show. Now, I want you to listen to this music. It's so dancey. It's so amazing. Tony, this is your kid's work right here.
I know, right?
That's right.
Back in there.
That's correct. Welcome, everybody. You are watching the Brothers Sisters Smart Dumb Fun. You can see we have Anne, and we have a super special guest. This is Tony Caselli. We'll get to all of Tony's stuff in a minute. Yes, you heard that right. Caselli, father of Mad Max Caselli, who created our beautiful intro and outro music for our show. So, yeah, pretty much awesome. And, so we're broadcasting at 11 today because Anne apparently has stuff to do later today.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we're going to friends' house. They will supply us with beers and foods, so you can't say no to that. Can't say no to somebody else.
You're going to Mike and Annette's. Is that what you said?
Yeah. So if you want to go back in our archives and listen to an interview with Annette May, she is a cicerone, so that is a beer wizard, and we have an interview. One of our first interviews on our show was with Annette May. So we are going to Annette May's house. Her husband has been brewing beer for 40 years before it was legal to brew your own beer in Michigan. And so we're going to go drink his beer, eat her food, hang out with other people who like to eat and drink. So that's what
it's going to be a really good spread, too, because Annette's pretty amazing when it comes to that sort of thing. Yeah.
So if you want to learn more about Annette May, go back into our archives and listen to that show.
Officially totes jelly on that. Listen to me using the slang. That means totally jealous.
Bingo.
Okay. Hi, Jenny Brothers.
I'm totes jelly.
I was like, ooh, toast and jelly?
Right.
Get it together, Anne. Jeez.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Now I want 11Zs.
Exactly.
I always want 11Zs. There's not a day in my life that I don't want second breakfast and 11Zs and tea and dinner and supper.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if you're listening to our show and you're hearing bird music, it's because Tony is sitting outside and the birds of Williamston are going crazy with summer love. So,
it's nice out.
On the show too.
Yeah, it is nice. I was going to say that robin is having a great old time. So if you're hearing bird sounds and robin singing, it's they're in Williamston enjoying the good life.
There's a squirrel over here who continues to chatter at me. He's not happy that I'm out in his space, so we may hear some of that too.
If Tony gets attacked by a squirrel,
right? Best podcast ever.
Squirrel rage.
The squirrels are rising up. No.
Oh no.
Honestly, that wouldn't be so bad, would it?
It'd be hilarious. Well, we think it's hilarious. We think it would be hilarious until they start attacking us. And then we're like, oh, this isn't as funny as I thought it would be. Stop.
30 years from now, the whole human race is serving our squirrel overlords. You don't know.
Terrible. Love it. So anyway, Tony is with us because Tony is the artistic director and co-founder and awesome actor from the Williamston Theater. And we will be asking Tony many questions here in the next few minutes. We've also known Tony forever. How long have we all known you, Tony? It's been like 30 plus
87,
years.
Right? So since 87, 88?
I think I met you, I want to say 88 for me.
88?
And then maybe closer to 89.
I think, for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So however many years is that 35?
35, 36 in the neighborhood. So, yeah. Damn, we old, y'all.
Yeah,
I know. Still so good looking. So crazy.
That's true. I've only gotten better looking through the years. So,
Me
yes.
too.
So, It's true. And you want to go ahead and take us through our little synopsis, because we start every show with a little run through of who we are for our new listeners and what's going on. So if you've never listened to the Brothers Sisters before, or if you listened last week but because you got busy this week and forgot some things, here's Ann with our synopsis of who we are and what we do.
So welcome or welcome back, Sister Squad, to the Brother Sister Smart Dumb Fun. Here's our synopsis. I am Anne, and this is my sister Janice Brothers. Our last name is Brothers, and we are sisters. We are just that lucky. We're in our 50s, so Generation X. So when MTV started in 1981, we thought it was a revolution. I was like, paradigm shift. And Jenny and I grew up in a very small town in a very small county that did not have a cable package with MTV on it. So we just had to hear these rumors of this magnificent TV station that showed nothing but music videos. And then in the summer of 1983, Jenny and I traveled to California, where my Uncle Norman had all of the TV channels in the world. And for 2 solid weeks, when we weren't doing anything else, we were watching MTV. Now I don't even
amazing.
Do they even have music videos anymore? I don't know. But at that time, I was like, it was an amazing thing. Truly amazing. So anyway, if you're next, you probably have the same story. You know, that one artist who you saw the video 1,000 times. Tony, do you remember what yours was? Your favorite video at the time?
Oh my God. I mean, during that whole era, it was probably a Prince song, but so many that you just sat and watched over and over. And like, remember when Thriller came out and it was the biggest thing on the planet, that video?
Yes.
Yep. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I think the one for me that comes to mind, because it was 83 and it was just right place, right time for me, was Eurythmics' Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. Yeah. Because it was so weird, and Annie Lennox was so what? I'm like, we'd never seen anybody like Annie Lennox before, at least not living in Sturgis, Michigan. I'm like, she looked like a dude. She had the short, cropped red hair. And I'm like, what am I looking at? I love this so much. So for me, it's always going to be that video, because that song was huge in the summer of 83. And so was that video. I mean, so weird and amazing.
Yeah. Mine was Every Breath You Take by The Police.
A good one.
Yeah, I know. I was smoking. I was like, oh yeah, smoking is cool.
Wow.
Anyway, we digress. We talk
the one
about
that I think about all the time is the Aha video for Take On Me.
Take On Me.
Where they were like part animated and part not, trying to break out of the box. And oh man, that one still all these years later comes back into my head all the time.
Yeah.
Probably the best video ever. I mean, honestly, if you're being honest, as far as videos go, it's probably the best music video ever made.
I don't know. Hungry Like the Wolf, Duran Duran. So sexy. Anyway, as you can see, we talk about smart stuff, real dumb stuff, and fun stuff, or any combination of the three. We are not cool or hip or sexy. We know this because when we talk about exercise, we now talk about it in terms of bone density, balance, i.e. not falling over, heart health, instead of being skinny. We have come to the conclusion that just being skinny is a delusion and it's over. So anyway, we're not a celebrity influencer or a true crime podcast. If we were, we wouldn't get to talk about the bright, shiny thing that is amusing us at the moment. So that's why we don't do that. We are great to listen to when you want to learn things about stuff. And you may even feel a little bit smarter when you're done, but there's no guarantee. This podcast is not G, PG, or even PG-13. Jenny just finished her school year, and she is very excitable right now. We don't know what's going to happen, so you've been warned.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Join us on our website or Spotify or Apple Podcast or iHeartRadio or Amazon Music. Like us, follow us, hit the bell, leave us a review. Leave us a review, please. And thank you.
Thank you. 5-star, because we are. Hey, Jean, it turns out Jeannie Caselli is with us as well. Jeannie Caselli, watching the show, Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel. Good one.
Oh my gosh, it was all that stop action stuff. That was amazing. That must have taken months to film.
Totally. So yes, again, digressing back to our favorite MTV music videos or groundbreaking ones, Sledgehammer was a good one. Absolutely.
Very good one.
Yes. I'm just going to add something real quick, Anne, that we are great to listen to in the car. I was listening to one of our, it just popped up for some reason on my phone, our episode on the roadhouses. And so I listened to that episode driving back and forth somewhere the other day. You know, we are great to listen to in the car. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. I know. We don't distract you so much that you will that you'll accidentally hit that deer on the side of the road, but we keep you entertained enough that driving does not is no longer a burden.
Especially in Kalamazoo, where literally there is a detour. If you're trying to drive north or south in the city of Kalamazoo right now, just know you're going to have to drive 10 miles east or west in order to do it. So, yeah. So, yeah, you're going to want to listen to our show because you'll not feel like murdering then. Yay.
Mhm.
Saving lives.
And don't forget, zipper merge. Oh, the zipper merge. That's what you're supposed to do now. You're supposed to do this. If you see somebody like zipper merge. Anyway, that means peace finger, bring them together, zipper merge. All right. So give us your feedback with our questions and answers and our polls. And you can ask Alexa to play us. She knows who we are. And of course, last but not least, everybody, happy Pride Month.
Boom. I chose this teacher purposefully. It's my rainbow shirt with a fat unicorn riding a T-Rex because it's my spirit animal. And yeah,
And
there you go. It's my way to support the community. So, one of several. But anyway, this shirt is for that.
Excellent. So
Yes.
there's our synopsis. Now you are caught up.
Very good. Yes, you guys remember you can support us for free. It costs you absolutely nothing. This week, you guys, since I finally have finished school and I actually have some time to do things that I enjoy doing. No, wait, that makes it sound like I don't enjoy my job. Anyway, but yeah, we're gonna ask you to start kind of spreading the word about us. We need help, and you're the perfect group to help us because you listen to us and like us anyway. Please support us. Leave us a review on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. Sharing is caring. Put the word out. Tell people to like us, even if they don't listen to us. You can still like us. We're likable. Or that one time we got told that. All right, and let's talk about smart, dumb, fun stuff. You go first.
Okay, smart stuff is good friends, and not just I'm going to feature Lynn Brand in that good friends today, but just having good friends. I mean, on Friday, Tony and Jeannie and Duncan and we all went to the Greek festival, the Ann Arbor Greek Festival. Super fun, hanging out with friends. Our friend Lynn Brand got Jenny and I tickets just spur of the moment to go see Wicked in Grand Rapids. And just like such a sweet thing to do. She's like, she heard we hadn't seen it before. And she's like, oh, I'm taking some people. And then the next day we get a text. I got you Wicked tickets. Who do I send the email to? It's just like, and like, so we, Jenny and I did that. We went and saw, we had dinner together. We just hung out and we just thought about Lynn all day doing this nice thing for us. So Lynn Brand, thank you. It was so freaking sweet of you to do that. And it just made me happy all day, all week to think about all the good friends I have. So smart stuff.
Nice.
Good friends.
I love it.
Mm-hmm. Jenny, how about you?
What you said. Absolutely. And just feeling a lot of gratitude for that. We are coming up on the anniversary of a big loss for us. Our Aunt Julie's birthday is next Friday, which has been kind of close to my heart and her and my thoughts. But she was one of the best people I've ever known about, who had just an incredible group of friends.
Mm-hmm.
There was, I don't even know how many people showed up to her memorial service, but it was a testament to how she made her friends her family. And I just think there's something really wonderful about that. And that's how I feel about Lynn. Lynn is definitely one of the people in my life that I feel that great kinship with. And I was feeling that too when we were out last week shopping at the community thing with Maggie and Jeannie and my sister. And I'm like, this is great. I really love this. So yeah, so everything that Ann said, oh, look, listen to Lynn. Lynn is with us. Yep, that's right. Right on. And then the part two for me is that I'm obsessed with the Women's College World Series. And so I basically spent all of my week watching that. It's such a great thing. And I wanted to kind of give everybody some resolution there. That ended this week with Oklahoma beating Texas to win their 4th consecutive national championship. And I know people get all uptight about when you have a dynasty like that. They're like, it's not fair, dynasty, blah blah blah. But I think it's wonderful. I love greatness. I love dynasties. I think it's fantastic. I want them to keep going forever because it's really hard to do, and it's a testament to Patty Gasso, who is the coach of the women's Oklahoma program, what she has built there. And, she now has 7 national championships. She is tied with Mike Candrea, who coached at the University of Arizona forever. And I just think it's wonderful. She's a female coach. She's built an amazing program. And she's the first women's softball, or first any women's collegiate coach to ever make $1 million a year. And I think she's worth it. So also the second game of the finals against Texas was the most watched women's softball game ever. And it actually, it might have ranked even higher than the NBA game that was that night. So, suck it, NBA.
Just better. NBA is kind of sad.
Well, the NBA is boring. I don't know. It's just like, it's boring. Anyway.
Every time I watch basketball, which is not a lot, but every time I ended up watching it little bits at a time, I'm like, isn't traveling illegal? They're walking all over the place.
And if you notice that, it's a problem because it is a problem. And if my sister's noticing that, it's a problem.
It's a problem. I was like, do I not understand what traveling is? Because it seems like these men are traveling all over the place. I'm like,
it's like watching 9-year-olds play basketball. Because if you ever watched 9-year-olds play basketball, they take a dribble and then they run 5 steps, and then they dribble one time, and then they run 5 steps. It's like that in the NBA now. Come on.
Yeah. So I was like, dang. All right. Well, then I assume I don't understand. And then I watch something else. I'm like, ooh, Day After Tomorrow's on again. Yay.
I'll watch that. By the way, Joe and I were driving down to Sturgis yesterday, and there was like this top 10 list of disaster movies. And that was number 5 on the list, Day After Tomorrow. So I'm like, it better make top 5. They had some interesting choices on that list. I did like the fact that they left Armageddon off that top 10 list, and they did put Deep Impact in the number 10 spot. They were like, of the 2 movies, this is technically the better movie, and it is.
Yes.
So, I did have issues with the fact that Twister wasn't on that list, but I don't want to get caught up in that.
Okay, so. that list is invalid. It is invalid. Completely invalid.
I'm not gonna disagree with you.
But it is invalid. I refuse to accept those. That's ridiculous. Stupid.
That's one of my favorite genres: movies, books. Oh, the apocalyptic stuff. Oh man, love it.
Totally.
So good. Was The Road on that list?
It was not, but Contagion was. So I'll buy that because
Okay. Yeah. Contagion's pretty good. The Road is bleak.
Oh man. Oh,
I should have. I read that book and I was like, as soon as I realized no plants were growing, I should have stopped because I was like, no plants growing. Oh, they're going to eat each other. You should stop now.
Right.
If you don't have any plants, you got only one thing to eat: each other.
Yeah.
I read the book and could not bear to watch the movie. The book just ruined me. So I'm like, I can't possibly sit and watch this movie because I can't do this twice.
Yeah, the book destroyed me. And then when the movie came out, I could only find it in 1 or 2 theaters in the area, like in the art houses. And I went and watched it. And then there were me and like maybe 30 people in the space. And at the end of the movie, like it ended. And then the filmmakers did such a brilliant thing afterwards. During the credits, and then for minutes after the credits, they had the sounds of a neighborhood. Just like a neighborhood like I'm in now with kids and sprinklers and somebody mowing their lawn. They just had that running for a while. And so you saw everybody in the space sat there and just went, oh my God, okay, let's just decompress from that and listen to the sounds of humanity for a second. Like it was the most amazing thing. Oh my gosh.
God, that's really smart.
That's a good idea.
And everybody stayed, like nobody got up. Everybody, it was one of the weirdest experiences. It's why I love doing theater, because you sit in a room with strangers and everybody's looking at each other like, yeah, okay, I'm going to sit here. You going to sit there? Let's sit here for a minute. Because it was so good.
That's amazing because it is. Yeah, I finished that book and I was like, I don't even know how I finished it. Because I wanted to know how it ended. That was the only thing. But that was one of the least enjoyable books I've ever read. It was like, I don't know, like in a a cabbage book. Like, I know this is good for me, but I don't like it.
I couldn't put it down, especially because at the time I had Max was young. My son was very young at that time. So it's so much a father and son book that I was just destroyed by it. Oh,
Yeah.
God. So Tony, we're going to ask you a bunch of questions about the Williamston Theater. How do you feel about that?
great.
Yay.
Yeah.
All right. So as you can see, we have 11 questions for you. Answer them how you will, or skip them. Be like, I'm not answering that. All right. So the first question, and you want first question?
Sure. Tony, tell
Take
us
it.
something smart, something dumb, and something fun.
Okay, so for my smart thing, and this ties into later, just a little tidbit. Did you know that the home pregnancy test was invented by a woman in between 67 and 71? She was working on it. And she was not a scientist. She was a graphic designer.
I did not know
That's your tidbit. Her name was Margaret Crane. And she has an amazing story, and it's what the show we're about to go into this summer at Williamston Theater is about. Is the true story of this awesome woman and this whole adventure and thing that she had inventing the home pregnancy test in the late 60s. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
that's my
And imagine how much sooner it could have been done if men who were doctors had actually put their mind to it for a second.
yeah, or listened to her.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's a whole story. You got to come see the play because it's amazing.
Okay.
Like if you just imagine the American Medical Association going, so you don't want doctors to have jobs? Is that what we're doing? Like it became that.
Wow.
It's
because all doctors do is birth babies. Is that what we're saying here? Okay.
Or look at
right. Well, and who's going to trust a little woman in the 60s to do some scientific stuff? Come on, right?
Nobody.
That kind of,
nobody.
Yeah.
Absolutely no one.
It's a beautiful play. We'll talk about that later. But that's my smart fact because I just find that amazing.
That's awesome.
The fun thing for me is that the Negro League, speaking of baseball and sports, right? I'm a big baseball fan. The Negro League stats were recently just accepted by MLB. MLB said, you know what, we're going to actually bring all those stats into the official MLB stats and combine them all, which is such a great thing. And now Josh Gibson, who was like one of the greatest players ever, finally gets his due and is up there with stats. And people are like, Babe Ruth is the best. And you go, except stats, not anymore. Just Josh Gibson officially is finally in this thing. Yeah. So it's a great, like, I'm a big baseball fan, and the stats always kill me. Jeannie and I will be listening to a game or watching a game, and they'll come up with something like, he's the first Tiger to reach second base in his first plate appearance who's under 25 since 1982. And you could be like,
eating a hot dog with his left hand. Yeah.
Right? Some guy has that. He's like, oh, here it comes. Like, what? I love the stats in baseball because they're just ridiculous. But that whole thing about the stats from the Negro League finally being integrated and turning it all into one big league, I think is just finally, its time has come. Finally, it's way past due.
It's so far overdue.
Oh my God,
overdue.
And I love that.
I've been reading
Josh
a lot
Gibson
of
is finally getting his due.
Totally. And people having a meltdown about it. They're like, it's not the same. The major league players were the best. I'm like, you have no idea if they were the best or not, because you literally you literally eliminated half of that pool by saying these men can't play. These men who were incredibly talented athletes and amazing baseball players. And you have no idea what they would have been able to do against. I mean, you look at what Jackie Robinson did, and he wasn't even the best player at the time to be able to come up. And I'm like, he was a Hall of Fame player. How many other Major League Hall of Fame players were in those Negro Leagues that never got to see the light of day in Major League Baseball? So don't give me that bullshit. That is horse shit.
Right.
So.
And all the arguments of, we don't know if he would have been as good. You don't know if Babe Ruth would have been as good now. You can't. There's no. Those hypothetical things are fun because they're hypothetical. You can't make actual decisions based on that.
And you know what? Babe Ruth might have gotten to the Negro Leagues and gotten his ass kicked. You have no idea. I'm like, you can't compare the two. So you have these two really excellent professional leagues with amazingly talented players, and it's about time that they finally put these stats together because that's where they should be. So,
Yes.
good one, Tony. Good one. Yeah.
And my dumb thing was the thing that I saw online, which made me laugh because it was a clip of a guy having to zoom in to his court case. And he was driving and they zoomed him in and the judge is reading all the stuff. And the judge is like, are you parked or are you driving? He said, no, I'm driving now. I'm in the middle of parking. Hold on. And he parks and the judge says, so wait a minute, are you on a suspended license? Is that what this case is for? And you just watched him and the lawyers and the judge is trying not to laugh. And you see the moment that I loved was the guy driving, just parked, and the judge said, you're driving right now, right? And the look on the guy's face was just one of, oh my God, what did I just do? Like he literally did
You can see me?
like, right? It was so great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I just thought we've all done dumb things like that, but wow, that was pretty great.
That was amazing.
Whoopsie.
Yeah.
These things
Those are my three
happen.
things.
It's okay. So, okay, good. So I'll take question number 2. This is a question we ask all of our guests. Tony, what is your spirit animal?
Y'all, I appreciated getting the questions early, and I was thinking of this, and this is hard for me because it just was. Along with being like a baseball fan and a theater guy, I also am a science fiction nerd, and both of you know this, but I'm a huge Star Trek fan, and so after much deliberation, I'm just going to go with a Tribble because I think they're. I'm not a big man. I'm 5'3". I'm a little fuzzy, and so like a Tribble, I'm cuddly. I make cute, cuddly little sounds. But I do think like a Tribble, if you needed me to, I could really screw things up like Tribbles do. And so. Put me in the engine room, and I will definitely screw up your ship. So that I think that's probably what I'm going to go with as my spirit animal.
Tony,
That's
I think
a good one.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I think that's perfect.
And they're inspirational because really their lives consist of eating and reproducing and laying around a lot. And I'm like, can I please?
Exactly.
I gotta see if I can bring a picture in here real quick of a Tribble. Give me 2 seconds here.
In case you are not a Gen X or a Boomer, you may not know what a Tribble is.
They're just little puffballs.
Yeah.
And in fact, in one of the more recent Star Trek series, they were described, once you remove all of the fur, they're meaty, like a scallop. And so, there you go. Also, I will accept that. I'm a chubby little small thing.
Right there, I just threw this on there. So this is the Trouble with Tribbles episode from Star Trek. There's Captain Kirk, and he is holding a Tribble. So Tony, you have described yourself as one of those little puffballs in the background. There you go.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with it. I think it works.
I think it's excellent. I think it's awesome.
That is well done. Very well done. I love that.
So they gave that assignment to the prop head of props. They're like, we need you to create a fuzzy, cute animal. I'm like,
right.
On a budget of $7.
Right. And for this episode, we need 1,400 of them.
Exactly.
Go.
So, and
get to work. You have 5 days.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, awesome.
Yes. That is super fabulous. All right. So now now we've gotten through some of the preliminaries. Let's get to while you're here. Again, Tony is the artistic director and the co-founder and actor at the Williamston Theater, which is in Williamston, Michigan. So I'm going to, Anne, why don't you take question 3 here?
So, Tony, how did Williamston Theater get started?
So that's a great question. I worked for the first 12 years of my career after graduating from Eastern Michigan University. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, let's go.
I got a job thanks to my good friend Christine Purchase. I got a job at the Purple Rose Theater in Chelsea, Michigan, which is founded and still overseen and run by Jeff Daniels, the film and TV star, right? Film and streaming TV star. He founded that back in '91, and Chris had just graduated and gotten a job there right at the beginning as like their office manager. And she reached out to me while I was still at Eastern and said, "They're accepting resumes. They're just getting started on this new theater that's pretty close to us." And that was fun because I wanted to stay in Michigan if I had the choice for my career. And so I started working there, and then to make the story short, wound up working at the Purple Rose for until 2004. And met a bunch of wonderful people, learned a ton about making theater, learned a ton about directing and all the things I wanted to do. And then in 2004, a couple of us from there, me, a fabulous actor and human being named John Leopard, Christine Purchase, who was there, as well as Emily Sutton-Smith, the four of us had met working at the Rose. Chris and I were there full time. John and Emily had come in as actors. And the four of us started our own theater in Williamston, Michigan. And so it came about because the four of us were looking to do our own thing. And doing it in a small town was the goal, right? Not doing it in a big metropolitan area because we were all firm believers that the people in smaller towns, the people in more rural and less populated areas had just as much of a right and a need for that type of culture and that type of experience and storytelling to make the world a better place, right? And so we started looking around, and that was where it wound up landing, was a place here in Michigan that was easily accessible, close to metropolitan areas. So we had population centers for people who could come, but also in a smaller town that was a lovely walkable town where you could walk out the front door of the theater and hit a couple of bars and a couple of restaurants and get back in your car and get on the expressway in 7 minutes, right? And that's where it came from. So starting in 2006, we actually had a building and opened our first production after doing a bunch of like stage readings and things to garner interest, and a whole process of gathering a community of people who said, yeah, we want to see this happen. It would be cool.
Great.
Excellent. Yeah. That's excellent.
Nice.
It's been an adventure. And we're right now, like, we just released the season brochures for season 18 coming up starting in the fall.
Ooh, wow. Okay.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. So what should people know about the theater space itself?
We are what's known as a three-quarter thrust space. It's a small, intimate space. We have 112 seats, and the audience is on three sides of the stage. Most of the time, sometimes the audience is on all four sides of the stage, but most of the time it's on three sides. And it's a small space. Nobody is more than like 35 feet away from an actor at any point, no matter where you are in the theater. And that's on purpose. We looked at a bunch of different buildings and options, and really the stuff that I like, the stuff that we liked doing was stuff that was intimate and close, and stories that you could tell where the actors and the audience wound up breathing together, and it was that type of atmosphere, because I love all kinds of theater. I love going to the big Broadway, yes, let me see Wicked again. Yes, I want to see, all of the things, right? But the stuff that I want to do in smaller communities is stuff that lets people who may never do anything else together sit in a room together in the dark and feel this story together and breathe together and go through this communion of a storytelling event together, where they can laugh and cry and gasp all as one unit with the actors on stage. And so small and intimate was the goal. And that's what you need to know. We're located like right downtown. We're right across from the hardware store, and around the court, like there's restaurants and bars and fun. The glass blower shop is directly across our door. So it's an awesome place to visit.
So go to the theater and then go across the street and get that hammer that you've been wanting to buy.
That's right. Get a hammer.
Or get a screwdriver from the bar.
When we were starting the theater, the people who ran the hardware store, the day that we finally signed, like okay, you can rent this building now. We took a ladder and we're trying to get the sign, the for rent sign, off the front of the building. And the owner of the hardware store came running out and said, "This is our first donation here," and gave us like a multi-tool screwdriver thing to take the sign off the front of the building. And then they wound up becoming Uber supporters, and she wound up being on our board of directors, and
Oh,
yeah, it was
hooray.
fabulous. It was fabulous.
Wow.
That's cool.
Oh,
So,
that's
Anne, you
awesome.
get the next question.
Is it a professional theater or is it like a civic theater?
It is a professional theater. We everyone gets paid, and we have a contract with the Actors Equity Association, which is the union of professional actors and stage managers in America, as well as Canada and elsewhere. And so, yeah, the actors that we work with are the same actors in the same union as people off Broadway and on Broadway and in a lot of the national tours. So if you hear the words equity or actors equity, that's what that means. Is and our contract, we technically are what's known as an SPT Tier 4, to get all technical at you.
Did you say Tier 4?
SPT Tier 4. Which all the theater people listening are going, so that means you're small and you pay a small amount. Correct. And our contract allows us to my phone is going low battery. The contract allows us to use equity and non-equity actors, which is great because we can use local actors who've chosen to not enter the union because for whatever reason. But there are many fabulous actors who are not in union, as well as using union actors who, that's their main source of making a living, or one of them is being an actor. And
Cool.
same thing with stage managers. You have to have a union stage manager. And then all of our designers are paid, and many of them are members of their own unions, of which there are several.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's part of the challenge because it also means that, we have to charge a certain amount for ticket prices, and a certain amount of our income has to come from donations, like from individuals and grants and things. And that's because you have to, as a not-for-profit regional theater, you have to split up your income that way legally.
Okay.
Yeah.
All these things I didn't know about this. So, yay,
Yeah,
this
I
is
had no
good.
idea.
Anne, why don't you take the next question as well?
Tony, why is live theater still relevant today?
Geez, that's a great question. Live theater is relevant because I think even more so today, the fact that so much of what we do is like what we're doing now on a screen. And this is very personal and personable and communicative. But what it doesn't have is that connection where we're all right together. We're all in the same room. We're all experiencing the exact same thing next to each other. We're looking at each other and breathing with each other. And that's one of the things that I love about it. I sort of spoke to it earlier. I love the fact that you really do get a bunch of people in a room together, breathing the same air and feeling the same things, right? Having that same experience as the actors go through what they're going through. And so there's something magical about that moment where an actor 30 feet from you does something and everybody in the room has the same reaction. And then you all turn and go, "Oh my God, that scared the shit out of me." Or you're all laughing, those moments where you laugh and you're laughing so much that you want to look and share that moment of laughter with your neighbor or somebody you've never talked to across the way who just catches your eye. Like those moments of communion and bringing people together, I think are one of the best things about theater. And as the world gets more isolated and we deal with the pandemic of loneliness that currently exists in our world, this idea of getting everybody in the same room is really important, I think.
Cool. We have Vivian Ortiz-Kaminsky with us. She says it's authentic, and I would agree. So authentic. Half the fun of going to live theater is that it's alive with you, and there's a certain level of excitement that goes with the idea that anything can happen in live theater, and sometimes does. So that's part of the action. I think that's part of the cool part about going to live theater for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree. Thanks, Vivian.
when Jenny and I went to see Book of Mormon, there was a group of Mormon missionaries handing out Mormon Bibles. And I was like, oh, I want a Mormon Bible. So I got one. And before the show started, I was reading it out loud. And so the lady next to me, when she first sat down, she's like, oh my God, she has a Mormon Bible. And then I started reading it out loud and making comments. And then she turned to me, she's like, I was worried sitting next to you. But after I heard you reading it out loud in your comments, I think we're going to have fun. So, like that sort of
Yes.
thing, So, and that's
Yeah.
before
Yeah,
the show even
absolutely.
started. And yes, we did have fun.
And I just think there's so
Indeed.
much about theater. It can make you laugh. It can make you cry. It can tell stories that are very social justice oriented and go, hey, have you thought about this shit that's going on today? And then it can also go, and at the same time, tomorrow we're going to talk about Tartuffe. Let's go back to a Moliere play, right? From hundreds of years ago and just make you laugh, right? I love that. That diversity is one of the things that I love about what we do.
Awesome.
Very good. Excellent.
So, Tony, what are your long-term hopes for Williamston Theater?
That's a great question. And it's one that we talk about a lot. It's funny. We don't want it to grow into a theater with hundreds and hundreds of seats, because we want to maintain who we are and that intimacy and that togetherness, right? But also, we have the debate, and I just read a great article recently. I think it was from AmericanTheater.org. I can't remember. Talking about how do you define success? What is success? We're coming up, like I said, we just announced season 18. I'm already looking at plays for season 19 and 20. We're looking at what we want to do for our 20th season celebration, right? But then also the four founders, we do talk about the fact that starting this thing in our 30s had a very different energy than it does now in my 50s. And how long do I maintain this pace and energy? And how long do we really want to do this until we go, I'm ready for something different or ready to retire, And then the question becomes, do you hand this off to the next generation? Or do you go, you know what, that was great. Like 20 years, 25 years, we can shut this down. That was awesome. And does that make it a failure? It's so interesting, the idea of, we did that for 25 years. Let's call it quits. And then having somebody go, oh, that's a shame. It's not going to be successful. And you go, well, wait a minute. We made careers out of this. We changed an entire downtown for a generation of people. This was a thing that was here, and then at the same time, you go, there is fun in saying, hey, who wants to take this over? Who's going to be next? The next people coming up, So honestly, we're still deciding what that is. Like, I sort of would love to see the people who are working with us now come in and take it over. And then as the four of us age out and say, thank you, I'm now going to go live somewhere where they just feed me soup and I can watch Jeopardy, right? Which sounds really good. To alternate between Jeopardy, Tigers games, Jeopardy, Tigers games, Star Trek episode. Jeopardy,
Active senior
Tigers
community.
games.
Here we
Right?
go. Here we go.
Jenny and I talked about this last week. That was why we're not cool, hip, or sexy, because we actively dream about living in a senior community.
I know. I joke with my kids all the time about the time I'm actually able to do it. The money I make in the theater, I'm going to be able to afford my retirement closet. I'll probably have the hammock package. And then that's it. Every couple of weeks, somebody will just check in and see if I'm there. That's, I think, going to be what it is. But
And if you're dead, they'll just, I'm like, well, we can, put him in the big, pile of bodies that we have over here because you can't afford to bury him. So
it is what it is.
He goes from the closet to the filing cupboard, the filing drawer.
Right. One of my kids will feed me something, let me live on a cot in their basement. It'll be fine. But that's my expectation.
That's awesome.
That's excellent.
So yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but it's been a fabulous career, and I'm enjoying it until I decide I don't want to anymore, or they won't have me.
Okay. There you go.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, usually that's how we all end up. Like, it just kind of, it's like, there'll be a big grand celebration when it ends, or it just ends.
Right. Or won't. But in truth, for
Exactly.
what the theater itself is doing, more of what we're doing, continuing to try and make a difference in our community and the people around us to try and have what we do seen around the state. And we've been doing rolling world premieres through the National New Play Network. So that's fun because our name is getting known out of the state also, which is wonderful. And we, a few years ago, won a National Theater Award through the American Theater Wing, and some of those things, which is great. And just continuing to do what we do and try to, we talk all the time, make the world a better place through storytelling. That's
Awesome.
That's that.
So, okay, that actually brings us really to our next question. And do you want this one?
Yes. What are you looking for in plays that you choose for Williamston Theater?
That's a great question. Our season is usually, we try to go for sort of an eclectic mix, but the base of the season and sort of the heart of what many people would call a Williamston theater show is an evening of theater that makes you laugh and cry and want to call the people you love. Like, those are the three things, right? That the majority of our stuff is based on. And then, so if we do, like, we've changed to a 5-season show instead of a 6-season show after the pandemic, just trying something different, right? Probably 3 of the season are going to be laugh, cry, make you call the people you love. And then also mix in there a variety of things like a hard hitting, here's 1984, or here's a Magnolia Ballet, these plays that are much heavier, that make you go, what kind of person are you being? And how are you affecting the world around you? Stop and think about that and stop sucking, right? Or a play that here's an Oedipus and, a classic Greek, Jesus, that's terrible what this guy did, right? Oh my God, or any type of old chess, like, I think mixing it up is important. We like to talk about seasons, a season of plays being a lot like an entire meal. You don't want too much meat. You don't want just all the protein. You don't want all the vegetable. You don't want all dessert. What you want is a nice balance of things, right? And that's the goal for a season.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, on that line then, of all the plays that you've been a part of, which has been your favorite?
Oh, man. There are a lot. We did a play called Boom by Peter Sid McTreeb, which I loved because it was 3 people and they had this great relationship throughout the play. And it was about the end of the world, kind of, but then also the rebirth of the world. And what you find out is that actually we're on, like, Earth way, way, way in the future after we have been wiped out. And the story we were watching about this guy and this woman living in their shelter after an asteroid hit the planet, and raising they had these fish that they had in a tank there, right? And eventually what you find out at the end of the play is the one woman who is sort of telling the story and narrating to the audience winds up explaining how they did the best they could, but when they finally had to leave their shelter, they opened the doors and the waters rushed in and these 2 amazing people were killed. But we look at them as our saviors because the fish that they saved from the devastation on the planet wound up becoming the basis for our people. And so it's so far in the future that she's a person who evolved from the fish that these 2 people saved. It's this great, hilarious, dark, weird, and by the end of it, audiences either loved it or they were like, I'm sorry, it was the fish that were the right. It was so great. So I love that because it's just such a.
Are you trying to tell me we came from fish?
Oh,
right?
Boy.
Maybe. Right?
Honestly,
and there's
probably.
a beautiful play. There's also we did an adaptation of 1984 a few years ago, which was, I thought, a beautiful, really wonderful play. I just loved it. All the whole production team, everybody crushed it. And so that kind of drama, that kind of serious thing that we did, thinking we're going to do this because it's a cool piece of literature. It's important. We're going to do it. This is the one of the season that no one will come see. Because it's not a funny, sweet, romantic drama, romantic comedy, or any of that. And then it sold like crazy. and it was such a great production. So and the actors just crushed it, and I just loved that show for all of the reasons there. But probably my favorite is still Leaving Iowa, which is a beautiful, sweet, very funny play about a guy who winds up with his father's ashes, trying to fulfill his father's last request, and he's driving around the country trying to figure out where to spread his father's ashes, because his dad originally wanted them at hit the house where he grew up, and the guy drives hours to get there, and it's a Walmart, and he's like, I can't leave these in a Walmart parking lot. What the hell? And so he starts thinking back to all of the family road trips and family vacation that they would take every summer, and the best places his dad wanted to go and the best trips they took. And he's driving around the Midwest, like so many of us in the Midwest do on summers with our families, right? And he's finding the place, and his dad is sort of a ghost in the car with him, watching him. And then all these scenes get reenacted from when they were all kids. And so the mom and daughter come in. It's this beautiful play about a father and son and a family, really. And it was one of the moments that I'm the most grateful for in my life, because it's after the play one day, I'm in the lobby, and we're always in the lobby. You know, one of the founders is trying to say hi to the people and all that. And an older gentleman, probably 75 or 80, came sort of ambling out of the theater after the play. And it's a beautiful play that makes you laugh and makes you cry and makes you want to call the people you love. And he came out, and his eyes were red, and he saw me, and he made a beeline right for me. And he put his hand out to shake my hand, and I went to shake him, and he grabbed me, and he pulled me into this hug and wrapped his arms around me. And his voice was shaking, and his eyes were all wet. And he said, I have not spoken to my son in years, and it's my fault. And I want to thank you for this play, because I have to go call him now. And then he let go of me, and he pulled back, and he's crying, and I'm starting to cry. And he just ambled out of the theater and left to go call his son. And I was like, oh, I need a minute. And I went and hid in the box office so everybody in the lobby didn't watch me break down and weep, because right there I was like, oh, that's what we can do. Like, that's why we make plays and sit in a dark room and play pretend with other people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think Leaving Iowa still is probably my favorite. That was a long answer.
Awesome.
Sorry.
No, it's a, dude,
Good
sometimes
answer.
you gotta take the time to answer what, that's a fantastic story. That
Oh.
sums it all up right there. Well done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, wow. So let's transition into this question then. So speaking of plays, tell us about the show that's opening at the end of June here.
Ooh, this play I hinted at earlier is called Predictor, and it's about Meg Crane, the woman who invented the home pregnancy test. When you talk about it, it sounds like, oh, so it'll be a TED Talk. It's not that. It's hilarious and theatrical and inspiring and infuriating. All of these things, a bunch of the play is done in like a game show format. It's so theatrical. It's a big cast of 7 people. One of them plays Meg Crane, and everybody else plays everyone else in her life. There's a 6-person chorus who plays all these different characters. And it's set from 1967 to 71. So it's got that great late 60s, early 70s vibe. The set was sort of inspired by like a laugh-in, the Newlywed Game type of thing. It's a great play with this amazing story that's hardly ever talked about. Like, who knows this woman? And Meg Crane is still alive. Which I love. The play just had the premiere.
Nobel Peace Prize or something.
No kidding.
Something. Nobel Prize for Medicine. God.
Well, and it's really a play about her. And there's a love story woven in that's beautiful, but it's a play about her perseverance and strength and standing up to a lot of people and organizations that just went, come on, ladies can't do that kind of stuff.
Your little lady brain can't do that.
Right. Science stuff, not in the kitchen, right? And it's that kind of fabulous story about her perseverance and her strength and how she changed the friggin' world.
Well, I can't wait to see it.
Can't either.
Yeah.
All right. So if I were going to go to your show, how do I get tickets for a show?
You can call the box office anytime. 517-655-7469. That's right. 517-655-SHOW. Or
Wait, do you mean this number right here?
that number right there, baby. Which 7469 does spell out show if you want to do it, if it's easier for you. I don't know who that's easier for. We always do that, and then we're like, now I got to figure it out. That's annoying.
It's not easy. It's never easy.
It's never. And you can also go to the website, williamstontheater.org, and theater is RE at that. Williamstontheater.org has all of the stuff about Predictor and season 18, which is a season all about legacy and what we were handed from our past, what we're doing with it, and what we're leaving for the people who are coming next. We've got 5 fabulous productions coming up next season as well. So I'm excited about that.
Awesome. So here's some information about that upcoming show. It is Predictor by Jennifer Blackmer at Williamston Theater, starting June 27th and running through August 4th. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this one. I haven't been to many shows at Williamston. I think I've only been to a couple.
Yeah.
Shame on me.
Hey, you're out in Kansas.
So,
you're, you know, it's a distance for you.
Yeah, but you know what? It's worth traveling. It's good theater is worth making the trip, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
I think so.
So cool.
Yeah, come on out. It's going to be beautiful. It's being directed by Bulicia Charnel Hines, who is just fabulous. She's so much fun, and I love having her in the building. She heads up the Black Theater and Dance program at Wayne State University, and so it's a joy working with her. And I love the play. It's been a couple of years since I've been trying to get it on our space because, like I said, it's 7 people, which on our budget and our space is a little bit of a challenge doing a 7-person show. And so
Sure.
It's very exciting to finally have it here and be doing it.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
That's fantastic.
Thanks for letting me talk about it.
No.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So yeah, let's take a second. We have to give a humongous thank you to Tony Caselli.
Yes, thank
Tony
you.
Caselli, if you are just joining us or joining us late, Tony Caselli is the artistic director, co-founder of the Williamston Theater in Williamston, Michigan. A great theater. And again, you guys, if you're a lover of theater, this is a great place to see. It's a small theater, intimate, doing stuff that is, I think it's just really interesting and awesome. So thanks, Tony.
Yes,
Thank you for having me. Super fun,
Tony,
always.
We have a tote bag with your name on it. So
Exactly.
There you go.
What?
Yes. In your way.
That's
Thank
right.
you. I
'Cause,
can't wait.
all guests of the Brother Sisters get a tote bag and stickers. So there you go.
Exactly. So you can put your comic books in your tote bag and take them wherever you want to go.
I'll add the stickers to my water bottle. Put them on the back.
That's right.
Ooh.
And it's not just any tote. It's a fashionable, rugged tote. It's not one of
It
those
is.
cheap totes. Okay,
Mm-mm.
we
Nice.
spent the extra money to make sure that you got a nice tote. Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah.
So as far as our audience, well done. You've done it. You've spent nearly an hour learning things about stuff, and today you learned about Williamston Theater and Tony Caselli. The Brother Sisters, we are here for you. We want to hear from you as well. We'll have some posts and some polls. We've thrown some polls out there both on Spotify and Facebook. And you guys are doing a great job of answering our polls. So we're going to throw some more stuff out there today. We're going to ask you about your experiences with theater, your favorite places to go see live theater, your favorite shows that you've ever seen. So please answer our poll questions. And also, you guys give us your questions, concerns, comments, and confessions. That's right. We want to hear from you. So please do that.
Mhm.
And remember, you can always support the Brother Sisters for free. All you have to do is like, follow, subscribe, or leave a review on our Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or Amazon Music. So that's what we are trying to do. We're trying to build a following. We want you guys to learn more things about stuff. Gina Caselli tells us that she loves us. And I think she means all of us because, Tony, y'all are married and stuff like that. But I'm not going to lie, Tony. I think Jeannie might actually love us more. But,
I think so.
I'm just saying.
No, I'm not going to argue that.
Because, Jeannie Caselli is she's an honorary brother sister. So she's a sister from another mister, if you will. So, yeah.
Thanks, Jeannie.
Perfect.
Thanks, man. We love you.
She's so awesome. Because I said my phone was dying, she just brought me out a charger. So as soon as I can, yeah.
Yeah, I knew she was going to do that. Just for the
Yeah.
record, I knew that was going to happen. So
Jeannie, don't forget to share us on your social media. You too, Tony Caselli. Share us on
You
your
know
social
it.
media.
The whole
Share us on
theater's
your
going to
social-
share this baby.
let's
Excellent.
go. That's right. Again, you guys, this is the podcast you go to when you need to learn things about stuff. So even if the stuff is something that you didn't think you needed to know, you do. That's
Yeah.
all right. All right. Join us next week, you guys. Beth Leonard, if you're out there listening to this one is for you. We've been hanging on to this episode for literally 6 months because you said you wanted some stuff about Flag Day. We are going to bring it to you. So join us next week when we talk to our Flag Day experts, Laura Worrell and Tara Hayward Trotter, about Flag Day, its origins, its history, and other cool stuff. And one of the things that we're going to talk about, you guys, and we don't get into a lot of political stuff, but we're going to kind of just jump into this idea of how to sort of reclaim the flag if you're feeling weird about the fact that you might, just saying, we're going to get into that, but talking about reclaiming your flag. Anyway, there you go. That's next week's episode. So it's going to be good stuff.
Mhm.
So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and bring this out and bring us back into the fray here. That's it for this week, you guys. Just so you know, I am Janice Brothers. With me is my sister Ann Brothers, and with us is our amazing guest, Tony Caselli. And Tony, I'm going to go ahead and put this on because, again, from your kid,
Hit it.
there it is. All right. From
We're
Caselli.
losing, Jenny, we're losing you a little bit, so I'm gonna bring us out here by saying, hey, everybody, do something smart this week, do something fun this week, do something dumb this week. Have a great week. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Proud to hear. Bye.